Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would just share with you guys 6 different jobs that you could get with an English degree. So the first job is actually something that I'm working on right now as an intern, and that's social media. So you could be a social media manager, you could work on a social media team for a company. I'm actually working on the social media and content team of a marketing agency, so you could work on that with a specific company or helping a number of other companies through a marketing agency. And how writing really comes into that is writing the social media content, and sometimes that will even extend to like blogs and emails and things like that. And it's just kind of about selling a company and selling products, but just through a different avenue than a salesperson does. And it's really interesting, and it's definitely a really cool job you can get with an English degree, and having full command of a language and being able to effectively communicate, it definitely really comes in hand. And if that's something you already know that you're leaning towards, I definitely recommend either maybe double majoring or minoring, or even just taking a few classes in marketing, ad, PR, or those kinds of things, just so that you also have some background knowledge within that part of the job as well. And then another job that's pretty similar in my opinion is also to be a copywriter. And that's very similar. You're writing copy, which copy is kind of like the written words on a page. So like if you look at a website, all of the words on the website are considered the copy. So a copywriter, you're working on websites, you could be working on social media, blogs, emails, like all that stuff, the words are considered copy. So they kind of fall, together, which is why I consider them pretty similar. But I think, somebody who's working with copy and being a copywriter, it's kind of more specific to that. And I think it's a lot easier to freelance copywriting than it is to like freelance social media work, just because with social media work, I feel like you have to have like a really, it's much more beneficial to really like know a brand very well to be able to help with that. With copy, it's a little easier, in my opinion, you don't have to know the brand that well. Next job is pretty, straightforward, just to be a writer. And that sounds very broad because it is. There are so many different avenues you can take as a writer. You can write books, you can write, and then within books, nonfiction, fiction, different genres, children's books, you could write textbooks for, there's so many different avenues that being a writer can take, so it kind of just depends on your preference. But an English degree will only help with that, and it's definitely going to help you be really prepared and set you forward in that path if that's what you'd like to do. And I think that a lot of English majors definitely could fall into that category. Then the next one is to be a teacher or professor. So you don't necessarily have to teach English using an English degree to become a teacher. I'm sure it's helpful, you've spent how many years learning it now and like really being involved, but English language arts, and then if you go ahead and get further education, you can even become a college professor, which my assumption is that's higher pay, but that's just a random assumption. I don't know if that's true or not. But given that you need a higher degree, that leads me to think it would be. If I'm wrong about that, please fact check me in the comments. And the next job is to be a brand manager. This is again similar in that marketing realm of writing. And a brand manager is somebody who, manages a brand. It's pretty, it sounds exactly like it is. So that can include, being in touch with influencers. being in touch with influencers and sponsorships and like those kinds of things and making those things happen. So, you know, the communications there. It can also kind of revolve around the social media stuff again. So, you know, with marketing and writing, you know, things definitely tend to overlap, and it's just kind of about what specific things you want to be doing. The last job that I will talk to you guys about today is to be an editor. And, you know, I think a lot of people don't necessarily think about this when they think about being an English major, but that's a great degree if you want to be an editor, you know, to be able to understand why language works and how, and writing theory and English theory and language theory and all those kinds of things, to then apply that as an editor. It's really, really helpful. And you have to understand why a piece of writing works and doesn't to like know how you want to write, which means that you learn how to edit a piece. You learn how to say this works, this doesn't, how, you know, things can be fixed up, because you're learning how to do it for your own writing. So those are all the jobs I want to talk to you guys about today. Let me know if there are any jobs that I missed that you are maybe interested in the comments section, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!